What's up, y'all? This is Ian with Freedom Flow Finance and IULRehab.com. And the video today is going to be a little different than any of the videos I've put out thus far on the channel. I recently participated in a panel discussion with some of the other agents that are in the Life 180 agency, and I had an opportunity to share my story and how I even got into life insurance. As I say in the video, if you had told me a year ago that I'd be in the life insurance industry, there's no way I would have believed you. But here we are. Without further ado, here's the video, and I highly recommend to check out the entire video. I'll leave a link in the description below. We had a great discussion, and different people within the agency got to share their stories and talk about our experience with Life 180 and why we've enjoyed it so much, and how we got to be here.
And as you can see, I am here with all my friends. We got a fun panel, and what we're doing here is ultimately we're going to be doing this panel discussion. It won't be the same people every week, but hopefully we have a lot of regulars. Ultimately, what we're looking to do is have conversations about what's going on in the industry, what's going on in the economy, really what are the problems that the financial solutions that we help coach people through, what's going on in the world, and how can we help people kind of prepare for what's happening, what's coming down the pipeline, and so on and so forth. And so what I thought would be fun for the first video, because we have a lot of great people on the call today, I guess on the video today, what I thought would be really fun is to take a moment and start by having the conversation about IUL versus whole life. Because if you watch this channel, you know that I talk a lot about index universal life, whole life, the difference between the two, the good, the bad, the ugly. Obviously, I get a lot of people that disagree with me. I get a lot of people that love what we talk about. And, I think it's kind of my personality to not back down from a fight. I believe emphatically in what we do. And so what I thought would be fun is because a lot of people that have joined Life 180 have joined because of the fact that they have a passion for helping people. But unfortunately, a lot of the industry is not really supporting people that really want to serve people to actually go out and serve people. It's really focusing on just selling. It's focused on recruiting. It's focused on all the things that maybe are a bit more self-serving than they are, you becoming who you need to be as an agent to be able to provide the value and serve people in the way you need to serve them to actually add value to other people's lives. And my mindset is just through the lens of money follows value. And if you are willing to get into this business and maybe slow down a little bit and do things the right way and build yourself as an asset that can add value to the lives of other people, that's ultimately going to be what helps you build a long-term sustainable business, because it's going to be pure, right? But the right way is not usually the easy way. And so I think it's amazing. And I thought it would be really fun because we got a lot of the guys here, and we don't have a woman on the call, do we? It's all guys. So, hey, it is what it is. We'll get some women on this call eventually. But all these guys are people that either come on the channel regularly with me or are starting their own channel and kind of getting in the fight. And I am so grateful for them for doing so, because of the fact that there are so many uneducated IUL people out there talking about things that they don't understand. And there just needs to be more information sharing, facts and truth about how these products actually work and coming at it from a different perspective. And so I guess to just start with this, I'm going to go around and I'm going to say, all right, everybody's got a story why you're here. Index Universal Life, some of you guys sold IUL before. Some of you didn't, but you've got an experience, obviously, because every single one of you has gone through this process of making a decision as to what type of product you want to sell to be able to serve people, to be able to help people. And so you came to the conclusion that you aligned with our values and beliefs, right, with Life 180, and that whole life, ultimately, not to steal your thunder, but that whole life was the better solution than IUL, right? And that said, you all have a different reason and a different story on how you got there. So I thought it would be really fun to kind of share that and have everybody kind of share their perspective, because, I share mine all the time, obviously, as a former director of business development for one of the top IUL companies in the business. When I learned what I learned about what I was doing for 4.5 years, I realized like I was hurting people, and I had to make some massive pivots and changes because I started doing these policy reviews with people. I started having conversations with actuaries and the people who were actually, on the back end and running, controlling the variables, the levers in these policies. And you realize that from a long-term perspective, you just give up way too much control. And I can't stand how IULs are sold as this great alternative to a 401k because of all the benefits you pick up. But the reality is when you pivot your money into an IUL from a 401k, for instance, you're really just transitioning the control from the government to the insurance company, right? That's all you're doing. And if you think that the insurance company is going to look out for you better than the government, go look at how they treated all the traditional UL, clients that bought in the 80s and early 90s. It's an atrocity, right? So I feel like there's a lot of people that kind of assign this sense of morality to life insurance companies because of the fact that there's like death associated with it, right? And they're good companies because they pay a death benefit and they want to help the families. And so there's like this sense of morality kind of woven into the conversation about life insurance companies. But make no mistake about it, there's no morality with a company. They are very actuarially driven. And so when you look at the companies, you have to look at the fact that there are contracts. And when you look at illustrations, whether it's whole life or IUL, I suggest nobody ever puts anything into any money, I should say, into anything they don't understand. And so you should read every single line on a contract. And if you have questions about it, you should ask your agent. And if your agent can't answer that in a way that helps you feel like you understand it with a sense of confidence and clarity and understanding, you should just not do it. And I just feel like if everybody read an IUL illustration from front to back, they'd run as fast as they could the other way. And that's just my story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on, this got me thinking, I'm going to bring on Mr. Ian. What's up, man?
Of course. Doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me on today.
Oh, it's great, man. So you and I met it was Houston, right? Is that where we were? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recall.
Yep. The first weekend in November in Houston.
That was funny. Yeah. So it was an interesting conversation. So full transparency. Do you mind me sharing the story a little bit?
Go right ahead. Yeah. That's where I was going too. So.
Okay, amazing. So I'm gonna bring Matt on for a second too because he was involved in this whole shenanigans too. So Matt and I was invited to go check out this this conference, right? I guess it's the only way to put it. It was like a hype fest for World Financial Group, and I remember getting called and invited, and I just remember like thinking to myself, is this woman insane for inviting me to go to this event? Like, it just makes no sense. Like, and then she was dead serious, and I was like, listen, if I go, I'm gonna like make content on it and it's gonna be what it is. And she's like, I don't care, I really want like a third party opinion on what's going on, because I'm just checking this thing out. Ironically, like, that woman has ghosted me since. Like, she's just I think she just decided to get away from the industry as a whole. But I went to Matt and I was like, Matt, dude, I got invited to this thing. Like, I don't know if I dare go alone. I might get like beat up, if I go there alone, like with all these people. But like, I'll say this, everybody was nice enough to be there, and probably nicer than they should have been, in a sense. They let me be there and they let me talk to people, and we were super respectful in the time. And in the process, you were sitting in the lobby one day, and I came out, and I don't even remember how we started talking. I just remember sitting down with you, and we ended up talking for quite a while. And then that transition, that transition in me introducing you to Matt. And so I'd love to hear you share kind of like your story of how we met and what that story was, why you were there in the first place, and how like your journey of like, I don't know, realization or transition or however you want to phrase it.
Yeah. So thanks for that kind of intro. If you'd have told me this time last year that life insurance would be like a career path for me, there's no way I would have believed you. I was recruited by somebody into WFG, someone that I met at a farmer's market. I'm in Montana.
Nice.
One thing led to another. I went to the big event in July, which is like 30,000 people, which was just bonkers. And then ended up going to that event where we met in November.
Yeah.
And
you drove there, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So
like
like
you drove
the
like 18 hours, wasn't it? Or something crazy like that?
30, yeah,
30 hours.
like total from northwestern Montana down to Houston, it was like a 30-hour drive.
Good Lord.
And yeah, I had one foot in those first few months. Like there's just something didn't feel right about it to me.
Mm,
So okay, my intention for going to that conference in November was to get clarity. Like, am I in or am
mhm.
I out? Like what? Like I just got to make a decision here. And on the drive down 30 hours, I ended up listening to a lot of your content, particularly
Oh,
content
yeah.
with you and Garrett at that time. Several
Yep.
videos had come out, and on the drive, I listened to a lot of this content. And I was like, it confirmed some suspicions that I had and some intuitions I was having about not only the company but the product itself. And we get down there, and we're in this enormous room, people on stage. I'm sitting by the door, and I look over. The door opens up, and Chris, yeah, you walk through the door, and my jaw just kind of hit the ground. I was like, that is not who I expected to walk through the door here. And that was the first day, I think. And the second day, on the lunch break, I basically confronted the guy in my upline, the team leader, asking him a bunch of hard questions, and I did not get satisfactory answers. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Okay, that's my answer. I'm done. I'm out of here. And I didn't really want to be sitting in the big room anymore, so I'm sitting in the lobby just messing around on my phone. And I see you walk by, and I got your attention, and like, hey, like, and just like, hey, you're that guy about IULs, evil. And yeah, we had a conversation, and a lot of the things that I was thinking and feeling were confirmed in real time. And yeah, and honestly, since then I haven't looked back.
Love it.
I don't believe that IUL is evil or the people that are selling it are bad or evil. Like
Sure.
I'm pretty in the middle about it. Like it's a contract, and it doesn't have morality. I don't assign morality to IUL. But the
Yeah.
reality is, like, just from being in the company for as long as I was, I didn't even know that you needed to max fund a policy. Like that was never anything people talked about. It was just like target funded. Knowing what I know now, and I actually purchased an IUL. Knowing what I know now, the IUL that I purchased would have lapsed undoubtedly. And I even made a 2-hour webinar about it. And
Oh,
so
wow.
it's been a long journey, and I've learned a lot in the meantime. And the more that I learn, the more that it becomes very clear to me that education, just like telling people what these policies do, how they work, how they
Mhm.
don't work. Like you said in the beginning, if people really knew what they were getting into and what these contracts said, there's no way people
Mhm.
would be buying them. The contract for my IUL was 161 pages. And at this point, I've
Oh
read
my
through it.
God.
I've read through it 3 times, and every time I go through it, I find another thing that's like I'm not okay with that. People just
Yeah.
don't know what they're getting into. So yeah, helping to
Yeah.
educate folks is the best thing
I love
that
it.
I can do, because when people have the education, they can make the decision for themselves. I don't have to tell anybody anything. It's pretty
Yeah.
obvious at that point when you understand
Mhm.
like the mechanics behind these policies and how complicated they are.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. And so what is it then about the whole life side? Like, cause I mean, when we talk, the thing that I really got from you was your passion for really helping people and educating people and like serving people. And so, it would be really easy to like say, all right, like I'm kind of just writing this whole life insurance thing off, because at the end of the day, like, there's other ways to do these things. Right. But like, so what
Mhm.
is it that had you kind of staying here, coming through the lens of like, you really can't have an optimized personal financial situation without utilizing whole life insurance in some capacity?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess my thoughts around that, and why I stuck with it for
Hmm.
um, the first reason why I didn't just run away from the whole thing altogether is that there are 70,000 agents in WFG, and I can't imagine how many, how many tens and hundreds of thousands of IULs are being sold that are just going to blow up on people at some point. And knowing what I know, it almost feels like an obligation or a duty to
Mm,
help spread and again just educate people so that they
yeah.
don't end up in a bad situation. I mean, I think of my grandmothers a lot. I've got one grandmother that's 88 and one grandmother that's 93. And I cannot imagine what would have happened to them had they put a bunch of money into an IUL. And there are so many
Mm,
class action lawsuits. You just Google IUL class action lawsuits. It's unbelievable, just the amount of people that are potentially going to be harmed by these things. So I felt a duty to move forward and help to educate folks about what I know. And with whole life, I don't know if I'm always going to be in the insurance
sure.
industry or an agent, but I know that with whole life, if I sell somebody a policy, I'm never going to have to worry about it. It's never going to be, there's never going to be anything in the future. I'm like, oh, I wonder if that person's okay. I
Yeah.
know they're going to be okay. And if I were
Yep.
selling people IULs, I would feel obligated to stay in the industry because I know I would have to do annual reviews every year until the day that I die
Yeah.
to make sure just in my heart that I knew I was doing the right thing, because those policies really need to be reviewed on an annual basis
Mm,
with somebody who knows what they're doing.
for sure. And I'll say this just on that point is like, it's another part of the importance of knowing the organization that you're with, right? Because the way our comp plan works, the way that you are compensated, the way that you own your business, the support that you have, the modeling and the the trust that you have in the people. Like if you went away, it's not that people aren't getting served, it's that that our team and the system and everything is there to support them, and that it's easy for us to do that because it's a much more simplistic product, right? Like people,
Yeah.
you know it's not, doesn't need to be highly complicated. In fact, it shouldn't be highly complicated. If your insurance product is complicating to you, you're in trouble. um, that's the easy way to put it, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah, no. And Matt, what did you have anything to add? Because like you were there, you guys talked, and I mean, it was just I just remember how much fun we had on that weekend, just being like, what the hell is happening right now?
It was a blast, man. It was all worth it just to meet Ian, because I remember when
Totally.
I spoke with Ian for the first time, and his girlfriend Frankie. We got on Zoom, and just like all the WFGers I save every week, you feel kind of, they feel, I could see they're traumatized, and they didn't, it's like, you just save somebody and they're like, what's reality? And it took a minute. He didn't jump, on right
No,
away. And
he's
I
slow to
really
act.
told him these are the things, I had experience in that industry, kind of revealed what's behind the curtain. And he took his time and didn't pressure him, because it's his journey. And
Hmm.
one day he called me up, he said, I'm ready. And I said, let's go. And through that process, for me, the reason why I say it was so worth going that trip just for him is with his, website. I think it's IUL Rehab. Is that right, Ian?
Yeah. IULrehab.com.
That's a good
Everything that
name.
he's built has been just so amazing. And I know he's going to make such a big impact for a lot of people. And just to see how he went from no experience, and he didn't really know anything, to now, when you see how he articulates the products and the research and the time that he's put in to really understand how it works. I'm just really excited. Like I'm just blessed that we were actually a part of that. And so I'm just really excited to kind of sit back and watch where it goes from here. It's going to be fun.
I love it. It is so much fun to watch the journeys. Like I have so much fun with it.
I feel really grateful to be in this position and to have the opportunity to help so many people. If you want to watch the webinar that I referenced in this video, there's a link for that in the pinned comment below and on my website, IULrehab.com. If you have any questions about how Index Universal Life Insurance works, that will answer every question you've got. So until next time, take care and be well.